Good afternoon, everybody. Is everybody excited to be here? Yes. Mrs. Oliver. That's how I felt about it sometimes, too. Mrs. Oliver was my high school counselor. And lucky for me, she lived right up the street. So poor Mrs. Oliver heard a lot from me junior and senior year in high school. But it paid off because I got into college at Dartmouth College, early decision, where the adventure that has been my life was able to be refined and nurtured. So it is with great humility that I stand before you, not just as an entertainer, but as a college graduate. And I will never forget the first role that I played in a pilot. I played half woman, half washing machine. And my character lived in the basement of a kooky scientist. And I remember my parents' just barely audible gasps as they contemplated the future of their highly educated daughter with a degree in Asian studies, with an emphasis on Chinese language, from Dartmouth College. And I was playing the part of a washing machine. But I will say that the tools that I learned while I was at college helped me to follow the path that was my dream. And even if I hadn't envisioned the washing machine costume, that's where I was meant to start. So eventually things got better. And I had the privilege of playing Tammy Taylor, the high school counselor at Dillon High, on the show Friday Night Lights. Which was, I have to say, one of my favorite roles, maybe my favorite role I've ever been able to play. And part of the reason for that was because of being the counselor and also the principal. She was principal at some point. And Tammy sternly at one point during the show told one of her students, "It's part of my job to make sure that you don't grow up stupid. It's bad for the world." Now, that might not have been the best choice of words, but those really are what the stakes are every day, and you all know it better than anybody. Our school counselors are changing the world. Thank you. Thank you. School counselors have one of the most underrated, important, and difficult tasks as they work to support and nurture our students. As they fight every day to put those kids on the path to higher education, they literally hold the future of our young people and of our country in their hands, in your hands. So we all owe our school counselors a great debt of gratitude. So that's why we're all here today. Yes, at the White House, yes. So I'm really humbled and proud to stand with the First Lady in honoring counselors from all over the country today. And we know exactly what you all are doing for our young people. And we're here today because we want to thank you for pouring so much of yourselves into this work. Thank you for investing in our families and our students and helping them become the leaders of tomorrow. And now I am pleased to introduce a woman who is a true champion for education in this country, someone who is challenging all of us to reach higher. The first counselor, First Lady, of the United States of America, please welcome Michelle Obama.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, everyone. Welcome to the White House. Here we are. I know. Let him run free. It's the White House. We've done worse in this room. I am so thrilled to be here with all of you today, and I want to start by thanking the one and only Connie Britton for that wonderful introduction. Yes. But more importantly, I want to thank her for bringing us Tammy Taylor. Now, Tammy might be a fictional character, but she showed us the extraordinary compassion and commitment that school counselors bring to the students every day in real life. And for that, we're really grateful. And she's also been just a tremendous friend and advocate, and she's very cool and funny and all that good stuff. So we're thrilled to have her shed some light on all you guys. I also want to thank the American School Counselor Association and its executive director, Richard Wong, for sponsoring the School Counselor of the Year Award. And I want to recognize our semifinalists and finalists who are up here on stage with me today. And I want to give a special shout out to our School Counselor of the Year, Mr. Corey Notstein. Hey, Mom. Look, my husband and I were so proud of all of you, all of you. And we are so excited to host the first ever White House School Counselor of the Year award ceremony at the White House. Yes! So, this is good. You're a lively bunch. I don't know what that says about the school counselors, but I like your spirit. Now, as you all know, for decades, we've held the National Teacher of the Year Award ceremony here at the White House. And we do this to send a clear message that we value our teachers. And we do it because we believe that good teaching is the key to achieving our national goals. It's how we prepare our kids for good jobs and fulfilling lives. It's how we ensure that our workers can compete in a global marketplace. And it's also how we create a new generation of informed, engaged citizens and leaders. But as I started working on my Reach Higher initiative to inspire young people to complete their education beyond high school, I got to know another group of school professionals who are also critical for achieving these national goals. See, one of the very first meetings that we held about Reach Higher was with a group of school counselors. And they told us how they're working hard to keep kids from falling through the cracks and how they're supporting overwhelmed parents. They told us how they track students down who don't think they're college material or who don't think they can afford it. And they shake them up and they tell them, you have what it takes. I believe in you. Now fill out those FAFSA forms and sign up for those AP classes, get started on those college essays. And the more that I learned about our school counselors, the more I realized that often America's school counselors are truly the deciding factor in whether our young people attend college or not. And in today's global economy, higher education is essential for good jobs with good wages. You all know that. That is why my husband has set a goal that America will once again have the highest proportion of college graduates in the world. That's what we're working for. So we know that higher education isn't just critical for our students' future, it's also critical for the future of this country. And that's why we thought it was about time we started giving our school counselors the support and recognition they deserve. And not just with words, but with meaningful action, with resources, programs, and partners to help them do their jobs. That's why we issued a challenge to universities, foundations, school districts, nonprofits, and others to step up. And in the past year alone, they've answered our call with tens of millions of dollars of new efforts to support school counselors and the students they serve. Universities are creating college and career readiness centers in their master's programs for school counselors. Nonprofits are working to improve student to counselor ratios and to provide more professional development opportunities. With the help of the U.S. Department of Education, over half the states in this country are giving school counselors new tools to help students fill out those FAFSA forms and college applications. And then we finally moved the School Counselor of the Year ceremony to where it truly belongs, right here in the White House. So we're raising the bar for you guys, and while we still have a long way to go, we're beginning to make some real progress on this issue, and that's due in large part to the passion and dedication of school counselors across this country. Folks like this year's School Counselor of the Year Award recipient, Connie Notstein. So I'm going to take a few moments just to tell you a little bit about Connie. I'm sure many of you know him, but let me give you just a taste of what's happened in the Alamosa High School Counseling Department under Connie's leadership. Over the past couple of years, Connie's department has more than doubled the amount of financial aid that seniors receive, growing from $500,000 to more than $1.3 million in money that's going out to seniors. They've raised the graduation rate by targeting students most at risk for falling behind. They've expanded access to college courses, and students have earned nearly 1,200 college credits in just one school year. They brought together community leaders to create the Alamosa Parent Academy to provide skills and support to parents. They helped train student mediators to resolve school conflicts. They created a mentoring program for underserved freshmen. They helped start a gay-straight alliance. And then in his ample spare time, Connie also manages to mentor interns, to serve on the board of the Colorado School Counselor Association. And yeah. And also to participate in an array of trainings and conferences throughout the year. But as impressive as all these achievements are, they don't even begin to show the impact that Connie has had during his career. And for that, you need to hear directly from the people whose lives Connie has transformed, his students. And here just a small sampling of the kind of praise that Alamosa students have for Connie. One said that Connie, and this is a quote, served as a true inspiration for me in all endeavors. It was one of his students. Another called Connie a man of great integrity. Another said that, and this is another quote, said, Connie inspires me to become a better student and overall person. Now, I could do this for hours because as my staff found that there were so many kids who were singing Connie's praises that we could do this all day. But despite all of these accomplishments and all these accolades, Connie, I have learned, is one of the most humble, unassuming, down-to-earth people that you will ever meet. The man is so modest that in the School Counselor of the Year application video, he spends most of his time on that video talking about how wonderful his colleagues are. And he hardly mentions any of his own achievements. He does, however, allow himself a brief moment of reflection on what it means to be a school counselor. And he says that the most important part of his job, and this is his quote, his words, is that being able to make an impact on students' lives and have them be successful and finally get to the place where they want to be in their lives. And I really can't think of a better description of the mission of our school counselors, because that's really what all of you do every single day. They help our young people get to where they want to be in their lives. And they do it with patience and compassion and sometimes even a little tough love. Our school counselors convince students that they have something special, each of them, to offer. And they push those students to dig deep and fulfill every last bit of their potential. So really, every day, our school counselors help young people become the people they're meant to be and achieve what they were put on this earth to achieve. And that is truly an awesome responsibility. And it's also a tremendous privilege. So today, on behalf of myself and my husband and a grateful country, I want to just say thank you. I want to share in Connie's thanks. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The work you do is extraordinary. Thank you for all that you do to support our kids and our country. We are proud, we're incredibly grateful, and we look forward to continuing our work together to support all of you in the months and years ahead. So it is now my great pleasure and my great honor to introduce this year's National School Counselor of the Year, Connie Notstein.
Thank you all very much. If I could get that every time I walked into a classroom, that would be amazing.
You might after this.
Well, good afternoon. I want to first thank the First Lady and the White House for allowing us to be here today and welcoming us with open arms. This is a fantastic event. It truly is an honor to speak on behalf of school counselors across the nation and to be recognized in this manner. To the school counselors in the room, take a look around. Look where we are today. Did you ever imagine that school counseling would receive such national attention and you'd be the driving force behind its movement? I know when I started my career, I wanted nothing more than to be an advocate for those without a voice and to collaborate to make systemic changes in my school to provide a more equal educational environment. So I understand that while we are here today, most of your hearts and minds are focused on the students you left behind at your schools. However, let us not lose sight of the importance of this occasion. For this is the first of what we hope will be many opportunities to come and have school counselors honored for their excellence at the White House. And this truly is a time to celebrate our profession. This past year, the school counselors' work on behalf of all students has received a great deal of attention. Thanks to the First Lady, Mrs. Obama has provided her voice and spirit for highlighting our efforts and helping our nation's students reach higher. I know each of us here today aims to foster an educational environment free of barriers where students can set their goals as high as they can dream. While we know all too well the impact a school counselor can have on the life of a child, there simply are not enough of us. Every one of us in the room would love to have more time to spend with our students. But like the best teachers and administrators, school counselors across the nation do not allow this to stop their efforts to reach every single student in their buildings. All students should have someone at school that they can talk to about the issues they face every day. And that someone should be a school counselor. So while states like Colorado are working to increase funding through legislation to add more middle school and high school counselors, we cannot stop there. We must continue to advocate for more school counselors, including additional ones at the elementary level as well. Using the Ask a National model and comprehensive school counselors are setting goals for their counseling departments that are data-driven and student-centered. I've been fortunate to work in 2 schools that have implemented comprehensive programming and receive recognition from the American School Counseling Association for this work. These comprehensive programs include the FAFSA Completion Project, which helps students find a way to afford the education that supports their career aspirations. In addition to supporting career development, school counselors are uniquely positioned to help students with their social and emotional needs. At a time when education seems solely focused on academic outcomes, school counselors are working to support children through some of the most difficult times in their lives. With increased national focus on mental health issues in schools, school counselors stand on the front lines, providing counseling services and making referrals so children and families can get the help they deserve and desperately need. As we look ahead to National School Counselor Week, which is next week for all of you that aren't aware, I hope each of you, especially everyone behind me, has the opportunity to hear from someone you've helped support along their own personal journey. And while our work will never be complete, we must continue to be agents of change and be the voice for those without one. So thank you for allowing me this opportunity to be here today and for the recognition you've brought to our profession. Thank you very much.